This is Kyle again with kayDbait. My last video was kind of out of the left field. It was just kind of it came out of nowhere, sort of. It was actually one of my roommates who was talking about Easter, and there was a fight, and I decided to, it wasn't with me, it was with somebody else, because on Easter Sunday, a couple of people went to church together, and one of the people was expecting a big Easter thing going on there, and there wasn't, and he's like, they didn't mention Easter, and the person said, that's because Easter's not in the Bible, and the person said, yes it is. And I wanted to do a video on that because it was something that was important to somebody that I talked to, and that's how I pick my videos. If somebody mentions something, or if somebody asks, I'll do a video on it. And this one I just did more research on, and it was kind of odd because it was a very, very controversial subject, and I ended up talking to several people about it, not just searching online, and they all gave me very interesting concepts and very interesting information about it. But this video, I'm sorry I digressed so early on in my video, but this video is going to be why do I do the videos I do. So the reason I pick my videos, the reasons I make these videos, I'll be explaining that right now, is I want to inform people about things. I very, 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 and I can't emphasize this enough, but I love factuality. I love things that are real, that are you can analyze, that you can see, that you can touch, that you can know. And with religion and with government and with, you know, psychological stuff, you can't touch it, you can't see it, you don't know. It's either really technical, or it's really, you know, kind of vague, or it's not meant to be questioned. There's a lot of different reasons, but the parts that you can see are being twisted sometimes, and I don't like that. You're making something that's real not real, and it makes me very animated. It makes me very, I want to figure out what's going on. I want to know. And when I get that way, when I see something that's going on that's just odd, or that I feel is being argued improperly, I'll start doing research on it and figure out, well, who's being the reasonable one, as opposed to who's just saying stuff that they heard. And that's what happens most of the time. Somebody said do a video on this, I did a video on that. Somebody said do a video on this, I did a video on that. But when something happens, when there's an argument about something, I'll say, I want to know. That's why I pick the videos that I pick, because I want to share what I learn with everybody, and then they see my video and they ask me questions and I make another video, and that I like that a lot. So I get very animated about things, especially when I'm doing research. I admit I don't do enough research, but once I get enough information that I feel I can start building off of it, I'll start incorporating it into my life. Like this Easter thing, I had no idea that it was a pagan holiday originally, and now that I know, when somebody brings it up, I'll say, hey, look this up and tell me what you think. And I've done that already twice, and the first guy got kind of upset about it and just kind of ignored it, but then the other person said, you know what, let's talk about this, and we talked about it for almost 2 hours. And it was just, they had their own ideas, I was explaining stuff, and they were explaining stuff, and they gave me their theories, and I gave them my theories, and it was a really good conversation. It was an awesome conversation. And I love that. I love building on ideas, and I didn't know stuff, and they didn't know stuff, and we were talking, and then we both went and looked up stuff, and we came back, and it's like, this is what I found, and that is why I have these discussions. This is why I love talking about stuff. I'm wrong sometimes. I admit that. Everyone's wrong sometimes. Do your own research. I love saying that because it's so true. Okay, why do I talk the way I talk? Why do I always say, well, maybe this and probably that, and I don't know this and maybe this? People say, well, that's a bad way to debate. You gotta be sure. It's like, no, you don't. If you're 100% sure that you're right, why are you in a debate? Why are you trying to persuade other people for the purpose of saying you're right. Most of the time that you're trying to argue with somebody is you're not sure and you don't want them to be saying you're wrong. So you're going to try to convert them. And it's messed up. The more unsure of yourself you are, the more you're going to lash out at other people that just have an opinion. You'll assume their opinion is them attacking you because you're already unsure yourself. And I don't like that. It's uncertainty in yourself being projected onto other people. And it's I use the word projecting a lot, but it has several different meanings. I'll talk about that later if I have time. But I talk the way I talk because I'm not sure. All I know is these little bits of information I got, and these are how I put them together, and this is what I see, and then I share it. I was like, well, maybe this, and this is what this says, and that's what this says. And I like that. I like things that are, you can see them. It's like, okay, I know this, but I don't know what it means. So I'll say what I think it means, and I'll say that. I think this means this. And that's just how I talk. I don't say, yes, this is 100% true, and there's nothing you can say to say otherwise because I'm so sure. I hate that. It's like saying, you know, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to listen to anything you say about it. Anything, no matter what, even if it's true or not, because I'm sure. I hate that. Okay, important information about me. I'm not religious. I'm not, you know, gung-ho about, you know, Democrats or Republicans. I'm not defined by what I believe. It's a really weird concept. I am me, and I believe things. But I'm not going to be generalized because of that. I have these ideals, and then somebody will try to push me into this, you're a Democrat, or you're this, or you're an atheist, or you're this, and they're this, and this. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm weak of faith. And there's reasons I'm weak of faith, and I admit that. I have problems personally with having a belief in something I can't see. That's the way I am. I'm not going to push that onto other people, saying, why do you believe in a God that you can't see? I don't like people that push their beliefs onto others. It just seems unfair. It's like, I'm going to accuse you of being wrong. I'm going to say that you are wrong for the sake of saying you are wrong because you're different. And that's just, to me, that's hurtful. You're being unfair. One of the other things I hate is unfairness. I'm a very calm person. I'm a very rational person. I'm nice. I give to people all the time, and I don't expect anything in return unless it's a very large amount of money, and I was like, I need this money. Somebody did that. They borrowed a lot of money that I needed, and I said, well, I need this money, but I'm going to lend it to you if you promise to pay me back a little bit of interest, just because I'm going to have to be eating, you know, bologna sandwiches for the next 3 months. And they agreed, and I was like, okay. So sometimes I do get greedy. I admit that. I would like some kind of compensation for a service that does me a great hindrance to what I'm trying to do. But when somebody does something that's just unfair, when it's blatantly wrong, stealing stuff, you know, just being hurtful to others, threatening people for you know, just the sake of being powerful, I hate that. I really do. And I will stand up and I will say, I am not going to stand for you. I'm going to stand against what you're doing. And it's rare. It's very rare. And I do have an issue with, I'm not a coward, but I do have a physical limitation where I know if things become physical, somebody's going to get hurt. And I don't like that. I do not like harming people. I do not like being harmed. But more so, I just think it's detrimental. You're doing a wrong to him, so I'm gonna try to beat you up to prove that I'm right. And there's just a lot of problems with how I try to rationalize it. It's okay. It's not so bad. You know, the karma will get back at them, stuff like that. But sometimes in the end, they're screwing up that person's life so bad that they're hurt. They're permanently hurt. And that's when stuff just starts snapping in my mind, and I stand up and it's like, I can't let this go anymore. And when my roommate just flat out said, the Mexicans, the Jewish people, the old people, the crippled people should all be killed. And he said this to a guy that was Hispanic. He said, if I had the power, I would kill you. He said that to him. And the guy was, first of all, the guy snapped saying, you can't say that. That is wrong. And I stood up by him and I said, yes, that was wrong, and you're out of this house. And we stood up, and we didn't let him get away with that again, because he had said it before. Before he had said it to me, and I'm only half Hispanic, so I was like, okay, he's insane, just let it go. But then he said it to somebody and said, if I could, I would kill you. And that, first of all, it's a horrible threat, racist beyond all belief. And he had made it clear that, if I could get away with it, I would do it. And he's out of the house now. He's gone. He had too much, and that was one of the instances where I stood up and I was like, I'm not gonna just kind of be a standby kind of, a viewer of this. I'm going to get involved, because it was so blatantly wrong. And it takes a lot for me to get involved, and I hate saying that one person is wrong over another, but sometimes it is just so bad. I mean, this guy says he wants to run for president, and, well, I know he's not going to because he's an idiot. It scares me to think that he might get elected. So, I don't like show-offs. I'm looking at my notes. I don't like show-offs, people that glorify events for the sake of their argument, people that lie, people that don't use reason for arguments, people that just do a lot of stuff that isn't fair. You change the facts for your own stuff, and when you do that, you're not being accurate. You're not being, you're not following the rules. You're saying, I'm going to change the rules for the sake of my argument. I'm going to lie, I'm going to cheat, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I know I shifted gears suddenly, but I realized I was digressing, and I'm almost at time. And so, things that are important to me, and then things I don't like. I'm always going to say things that I don't like. If you're a show-off, if you're going to, say the tsunami that was just in Indonesia, you start up your camera and you're in a windbreaker at night with a camera to your face, and you're saying, it's been 2 days and blah blah blah, and they haven't found the blah blah blah, and it's like, yeah, you're being accurate, but you're trying to scare people. You're acting like you're there, and you're just you're manipulating people's perspective, and I don't like that. I talk to you. I don't even move my camera to hide this crack in the wall, because there's a crack in the wall behind me. I don't need to hide it. Well, there's a thermometer up there to figure out what it is. I'm not going to put a giant, American flag behind me, or I'm not going to wear a pin that says "Save the Whales," even if I support saving the whales, because it's not the argument I'm making at the time. I'm not going to start attaching myself to all these different things so people like me. I'm not patriotic. I like things that are good, and when America's doing good, I support it. When America's doing bad, I don't support it. Some people say that's being fickle. It's like, no, I'm supporting the side that's right. How is that being fickle? If another country's in the right, I'll support the other country. It doesn't matter. That's the kind of person I am. That's the kind of stuff I do. So when I say, it's right or wrong, I'm being as honest as I can. So when somebody's glorifying the whatever party, or they're trying to, villainize the other party, is it an accurate argument? Is it saying, well, the party did do that? Is it true? Okay, 6 seconds and the video is probably going to stop, so I'm going to have to go. I'll make another video. Peace.